How can I help you today then, my friend?
Also, I just noticed I've been a lot of the stuff that you post
Yep.
just kind of caught my eye.
Sure.
Um, so I'm a little bit of a hustler, aren't we all?
Aren't we all?
Um,
Yeah.
aren't we all? Yeah. So this thing that you do, this rent to rent scenario.
Yep.
So you seem to be more on that opposed to investing direct into properties, don't you?
Yeah, well, I do both. So
Yeah.
I buy buy to lets as well, but
Right.
to get the deposits for the buy to lets, I do the rent to rent business to build up the cash flow, you know?
Right. Okay. I'm with you. Ah. Um. Yeah. So my position is, so I'm self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
I work freelance for a gas and energy company that I've done for about 9 years.
Okay.
Good money, but I
Mm-hmm.
hate it.
You don't like it anymore?
I mean, for the hours that I work, for the money that goes in the bank, it's not bad, but it's just soul destroying.
Yeah.
Um, and I've got a flat that I own in West London that I've had for about 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Credit rating's a bit
Okay, that's not a huge issue.
needs a bit of work on. But yeah, I'm kind of like just thinking what do I do next. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, of course. So where do you want to be in sort of 6 months' time? Where do you see yourself? Have you got like a clear vision of where you'd like to be?
Well, this is the thing you see, because with this job, it's like, it is a good job, but I mean, nearly 43 now. So
Don't look it, mate.
thank you. But I kind of like I need like another little sideline or something. Do you know what I mean? And I don't
Yeah,
want to
of
live in
course.
this country. So
Right. So you want a business basically that can make you money without you necessarily having to trade your time.
it basically, yeah,
Yeah.
not like I'm working every hour God sends because I'm not. I literally work about 4 or 5 hours a day, which I know a lot. I've got friends that are, working estate agents
Yeah.
around, work more hours than me on less
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Um, just to walk around in a Ponzi suit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 4 or 5 hours isn't bad.
Yeah, it's not. It's good.
But with rent to rent, typically, you might do quite a fair bit of work in the beginning, but once you've got the houses tenanted, you're only
Yeah.
going to really do like maybe an hour a day, if that, you know.
Right. Okay.
And
Yeah.
a lot of it you can do from your phone as well, because
Right.
generally speaking, it's just handling tenants and making sure that property's in good enough condition, a little bit of
Mm.
maintenance here and there, but it's relatively passive, you know?
So basically, you find the landlords, negotiate a deal with them,
Yeah,
and then obviously, you're responsible for the tenant thereafter.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's just a case of yeah.
We
Well,
basically become the tenant almost as a company
mm.
over a
See, I
long
do
term.
know people. Go on, sorry, go on.
No, that's it. As a long term, and then we then rent to people on more of a shorter term basis, 3 months, 6 months, and then
Right.
we make a margin in between, basically.
Because I know people that do this, but they kind of do it on the dodge where they'll get the property off the landlord, don't tell the landlord.
Yeah.
And that sounds a bit risky to me.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that do that as well, but
Mm,
if you're trying to build a business that's over a long term, it's not really
yeah,
not sustainable to not tell the truth, you know.
yeah, mm,
At some point they will find out.
yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah.
And you don't need
Oh,
to. You don't need to lie about it.
yeah,
It's not a secret. It's there's a lot of landlords who would really be open to a guaranteed rent rather than dealing with
yeah.
individual tenants. So
Right.
you don't need to lie about it. It's just
Yeah.
about how you position it to them.
Right.
And the type of landlord you'll be targeting normally owns more than three or four
Mm,
properties. So
right.
they're more concerned about having more time freedom than
Yeah.
necessarily getting every penny out of the asset, you know?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
They're normally quite wealthy at the point of when you start speaking to them. They probably owned it for
How do you
25
find
years.
all these people? That's what I don't get.
Yeah, well, it's just marketing, isn't it? It's knowing what to say, how to say it. We've got quite a lot of marketing techniques that we use.
Yeah.
There are various different portals that we use, letters, online
Mm,
portals, door knocking, you know, everything, you know.
right. Okay. Okay. So you'd need like obviously a few of them to on the
Well,
go to get
the average one for us makes around £900 a month.
right. After you pay the landlord.
Yeah, nine
Yeah.
hundred pound a month profit.
Yeah.
So an average deal for us is normally 2 months up front. Sometimes we get away with just paying 1 month rent, and we get a bit of
Right.
a grace period where we go in and give the
Yeah.
property a bit of an uplift.
Yeah.
But normally for beginners, it's 2 months up front. So on
Mm.
average, say 1,500 times two, 3 grand, and then we normally spend around 2 grand on furniture. So beds, bedside tables, things like that, IKEA stuff.
And who does all the reference checks? Or do you not do all that?
For the tenants, for our
Yeah.
tenants, we do all of
Yeah.
we do all of that as a company.
So what happens if the tenant obviously goes on the missing list and doesn't pay the rent?
Well, that doesn't really happen because the type of people you'll be targeting, they're
Mm.
more like working professional people that are coming to work in the area, and they normally pay for their time that they're going to
Mm.
be working for. So they're more like guests rather than tenants. So
Right.
they're not really seeing it as a home where they're going
Yeah.
to bring all their stuff and set up and move in there.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
normally there for 3 months, 6 months,
Right.
and sometimes they even go home on the weekends and things like that. So it's more of a home away from home for them, as opposed to like somewhere where they're going to
Mm.
see as somewhere where they couldn't pay the rent and not want to move out, you know?
Right. Okay.
So that's how you make your money from it. You target those sort of shorter term people. And yeah, you're not really looking at the traditional longer term tenant.
So you are on the tenancy agreement. You're down as the landlord.
Yeah, so with the landlord, you're on either a company let agreement as a company
Yeah.
or some sort of lease agreement.
Oh, so I'd have to set up a company as I'm the company, and then it's the company renting out the property to
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
tenant.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
you have to be a limited company. As I said, you got to do it properly and be professional
Yeah.
about it. Can't really.
Yeah.
Some people will probably do it as just individuals, like we mentioned, but they're doing it on like a AST contract, like a traditional tenancy contract, and that's actually where it becomes illegal because you can't sublet on an AST contract. You can only
And what,
sublet as a company.
and what about the tax scenario?
Tax scenario, like anything, you pay corporation tax. Have you run a business before or?
I do tax returns. Yeah. For well, years ago, I used to have like tanning and beauty shops in Liverpool. But that's like 20 years ago.
Yeah, so you pay corporation tax on business profits in
Yeah.
today's day and age, 20% roughly on profit. But with businesses and limited companies, you have more expenses, so you can reduce that profit in your favor.
Right.
So you pay less tax, basically.
Okay. Okay. So you focus more on this than doing the whole buy to let thing.
Yeah, I mean, I do buy to lets. I'm going to go and buy another one in a minute. I've got a portfolio of buy to lets, so
Yeah.
I do teach people how to do that as well. But
Yeah.
obviously, you have to have a minimum 30 grand saved to get involved in that.
Got a bit of savings, and I can take about 70 grand out of my flat, but obviously I've got to go through affordability, credit checks, and all. I need to get my credit up there to enable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think maybe you might think that your credit is holding you back. I mean, there are some people that are getting mortgages with sort of 500, 600 credit score around that sort of
Yeah.
mark, you know. Depending on if you've got any major sort of CCJs and things like that, then there's still some
Yeah.
lenders that will lend to people who haven't got perfect credit scores.
Yeah.
Remember, with buy to let, it's more about the how much rent's coming in versus the mortgage.
Yeah.
So they don't really look at how much income you have.
It's more
It's
to do with what the rent brings in.
more to do with the property that you're buying, yeah. So that could still be an option for you.
But for me though, because obviously I live in London,
Mm.
but as a second time buyer, I need 25%, don't I?
Yeah, you'd need 25% for any buy to let. Even if you was a first time buyer, you'd have to put down 25%.
So that's going to take me more somewhere up north opposed to getting somewhere in London.
Yeah, and you wouldn't really necessarily want to buy in London anyway because
Yeah.
the returns aren't going to be that great in London, and the
Yeah.
amount you're going to need to put down 25% in London is going to be more than the 70 grand I imagine that you've got to
Mm.
refinance. So it would be
I was
somewhere up north or over in
Leeds.
Wales. Yeah,
Yeah.
Leeds, northeast, northwest. I just helped a lady buy somewhere in Nottingham, nice two-bed
Yeah.
house for 140, 145. She's renting it out for £950. The mortgage is £340, something like that.
Yeah.
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 So I've helped a lady buy some houses in Wales for 150. She's
Yeah.
getting £1,000 a month. Mortgage is 350. So it depends. There's loads of areas where you can get returns like that, you know.
Because what I was working on at the minute, I kind of got in my head. Although that money's sitting in the house, I was thinking maybe just try to stack 30 grand,
Yeah,
trying to help without taking out my house, to then go and do the buy to let tomorrow. Because I worked it out. If I bought a property up in Leeds or somewhere, I'd
yeah,
need about grand.
yeah. 30
Yeah,
grand's pretty much the benchmark for buying a
yeah,
decent buy to let at the moment. If you include your fees as well, because you're gonna have to pay stamp duty because it's a second property.
yeah.
I think 5% now in England and it's 4% in Wales. So yeah, around
Legal,
30 grand.
yeah, about 30 odd grand in it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's an option that's there, and I teach people how to do both. I think it's a good move to definitely buy to lets, but some people want to replace their income and they want to get out of their sort of job. So rent to rent is a quicker strategy to do that because you can make more money per month with less outlay, like
Let's have that.
financially.
Yeah,
But obviously, you have to have the time to put into it. Like most people that are having success from it are putting 2 hours a
yeah.
day into it. So
And I do have the time, really.
yeah,
Like I'm going to work after on this call to you and I'll be done by 3. So
yeah. Well, then, something you could definitely consider. Like most people are putting in a couple hours a day, speaking to agents. We just had a lady up in Liverpool. She's just come really close to getting a 7 bed HMO on a rent to rent deal. The landlords ended up turning her down, but a few more offers that she
yeah.
puts in, and she'll get her first deal in no time. And she only came on a couple months ago, 6 weeks ago is when I started working with her. So it's just about putting the time and effort in. 2 hours a day is the standard sort of amount of time.
You see, my problem is as well. It's like where I've always struggled. I'm a hustler and I've just blagged my way through life, right?
Hmm.
So it seems to work as well, but I'm no good with all this computers and IT and fucking websites and
Yeah, yeah, that's all
yeah,
right. But everything in the course
yeah,
tells you how to. It doesn't tell you necessarily how to do it yourself. There are people that outsource everything to like freelancers on Fiverr and Upwork and
yeah,
websites like that. So
right,
it's not so much you doing everything yourself, being a
yeah,
tech person. It's more about you
yeah,
organizing for someone else to do it.
mm,
Because I'm not super savvy with all that stuff, but I will
yeah,
organize for other people to do it.
yeah, yeah,
So you're
yeah,
you're more the organizational force behind it, as opposed to the actual freelancer who's gonna
yeah,
do
yeah,
all that
yeah,
stuff. What you need to
yeah,
be
yeah.
good at is talking to people.
That's not a problem. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So that's where most people succeed is they
yeah,
go and speak to people. Like they go into the estate agents, they go and meet the landlords, they have a chat
yeah.
with them, have a coffee, and then the landlords tend to form a bit of a bond with them when they go and meet them and talk to them.
So it's basically just knowing the lingo, isn't it?
It's knowing what to say, how to say
Yeah,
it, being
yeah,
able to handle their objections, but mainly it's about building that trust. And you can normally do that through like this guy that I'm just doing this deal with now. I've probably spoken to him 5, 6 times on the phone for like 10, 15 minutes over the
right.
last 10, 15 days. And I'm going to go and meet him for the first time next week. And we've already pretty much done the deal. But because I've spoken to him so many times, we've built that rapport up.
So in his head, it's basically in his head, it's off his. He's got nothing to worry about. It's not his
Yeah,
headache.
yeah. The actual property it is, it's not
Yeah,
suited to a family home because it's kind of
yeah,
on a bit of a main road, and there isn't like a drive or anything for
yeah,
anyone to put their car. So he's not getting offers from a normal family.
yeah.
However, it's a really good property. It's 3 beds. It's got 2 bathrooms. It's in good condition. He's just refurbed it, but families are taking the ones that have like a bit more of a drive, a nicer area, end terrace, that type of property, rather than his one. And I'm going to give him market rent for it, which is £800 in that
Right.
area a month.
Yeah,
So he's just happy to have that price, that guaranteed rent coming in. He's just off on holiday now, so he's happy to have that money coming in every
yeah,
month without having to worry about it. And with all these new tenant rights coming in as well, it's there's more protection for tenants rather than the landlord. So from a
yeah. See,
from a landlord's perspective,
yeah.
they're
Me mate,
more.
he was saying about that the other day. Yeah,
Yeah, they're more open to renting to a company because if it's not working out in 2 months, we can hand in our notice and leave. Whereas with a normal tenant, he's gonna have to serve them notice if they can't pay rent, and then it takes 4 or 5 months to even get them out. So he could have 6 months of no income
see, this is
as well.
my thing. I've got a one-bedroom flat in Shepherd's Bush here, and it's time. I need to move out of it. But this is my fear of obviously getting someone in there
Yeah.
and rent.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not something to hold you back. You know, you can find the good ones. You just have to filter through.
Yeah,
And you know, if you list it and you get enough people coming, then you will be able to filter through the good ones and look through their financials and check their bank
yeah,
statements and make sure
yeah,
that they can afford it, you know.
yeah,
Or you could just use the skills that you learn from the course, for example, and furnish it and put it on Airbnb, you know, and do it by the night. That way,
yeah,
there's no contract. They're not staying there long term. They're going to pay by the night and then they leave. So there's no chance of someone staying and not leaving because they only pay for the time and go.
yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people, I mean, it's not hard to get like payslip references and all that, is it? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's not the only check that we do. You know, we'll speak to
Yeah,
an employer as well, speak to a previous
yeah,
employer,
yeah.
um, and normally try and see like a contract of employment as well.
I think it's the bank statement hardest one to fiddle, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and not just like the bank statement itself, but actually looking through there and seeing like, do you have the
Yeah,
disposable £1,500 a month that you're trying to commit to? Can I see that you can pay that every month? Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
there are ways to mitigate the risk, you know, but don't let that
Yeah,
hold you back. You know,
yeah,
the best thing about property is to rent it out. That's the way you get rich. So
yeah. Yeah, so I think it's definitely something I'm interested in, and I think it's something I definitely couldn't do single-handedly, and I'd need some kind of support to do it.
hmm
I think so. I've been looking at your posts a
hmm
lot. I see what you write. Posts. It's caught my eye. I think
hmm
I just so I'm going to Marbella next week.
hmm
Once a couple of weeks.
Nice.
Um, there's a case of when I could start it.
Yeah, well, I mean that's down to you, you know.
Yeah,
That's down to you. Maybe when you get back, have a think about it, you know. But ultimately, I'm not going to kid you into thinking you can do it without turning up to the calls. You know, we need to meet up every week and do the work. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so it's when you feel like you've got the time to do it. So that's something for you to think about. As I said, I'll be up in Wales working next week, and then I'm probably going to go away from myself for a few weeks back to the Caribbean for a bit. So
Yeah.
there's time. You know, it just depends how quickly you want to move and how much you're not enjoying what you're doing. You know.
Well, I think what you're asking is not stupid money, is it? So the gambling it, everything in life's a gamble. If you don't take a risk and gamble, then you never.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for
What
me,
happens? I lose 1,700 quid. Fucking hell, big deal.
yeah, but I mean, you won't lose it if you do the work.
Yeah,
If you do the work, you could have a business that's making you 10, 15, 20 grand a year within the
yeah,
first year. And then
yeah,
the 1700's nothing, is it? If you're going to
yeah,
have a business that's making you that. You only
yeah.
need one deal could make you 900 a month, and that's 10 grand, 11 grand coming in.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So that would already give you so much time back.
Mm.
And then you save that up for a couple months, you get a second deal, and before you know it, like most of our students, two or three deals, and they're quitting their job because they got 3 grand coming in, and they're
Yeah,
only spending an hour a day, an hour a week managing it, and then
yeah, like an extra 3 grand a month coming in. I get about 5, 6 now a month.
mm,
Uh, but obviously I've got to pay tax and that as well. But if I get like an extra three a month coming in, even two and
yeah,
a half,
yeah,
yeah. My mortgage is 1,550.
yeah,
So it's just an extra couple of grand a month, yeah.
yeah. Well, that's more than realistic, mate. It's just you got to turn up and do the work, you know.
Yeah.
And I will do everything in my power to make sure you do the work. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I'll set you tasks every week, and
yeah.
anything you're struggling with, you get access to my WhatsApp, and I'll help you as much as I possibly
Okay.
can. But it is down to you doing the work and doing what I'm doing because
Okay.
to get this deal now, I've just done 10 weeks of repeated tasks, you know, going on
Yeah.
Gumtree, going on Facebook, messaging landlords, speaking with agents. I've done that every single Monday to Friday for the last 10 weeks. Been
Right.
been told no quite a lot, and
Yeah.
then I've
Oh,
got
yeah.
one potentially two deals over the line in 10 weeks. So if you
Well, it's
copy
like,
what I'm doing,
yeah, my job's basically door knocking and basically getting people to switch to gas and energy supply.
yeah.
So
Well, if you're good at speaking to
that,
people, mate, and you can convince people to do something, then that's
yeah,
70% of rent to rent is being able to
it's
do that.
being convincing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So I
yeah,
think you could be good at it, you know. It's just
yeah.
down to you and whether you think you've got the time,
Aye.
um, and whether you want to do it, you know.
So it's basically a case to source them. It's ringing round and to get these contacts.
Yeah, there's a lot of tactics that we have, but ultimately
That's on the course. The tactics is on the course.
it's all on the course, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but
Yeah,
I'll be getting you to focus on specific tasks once you set yourself up professionally,
yeah,
and most of the tasks will be outreach, messages, calls, emails. I'll show you how to do all of that so that it's more systemized, so you're not physically doing it all yourself.
yeah.
And then it's a case of going on viewings, and then it's a case of offering on 5 to
Just,
10.
all right, cool. I get it.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
no worries, dude. Any more questions there for me? Are you good now?
no, I think yeah. I'll wait for the email.
Yeah.
You've definitely given me something to think about. I get it. Yeah, I
Good.
do.
Good.
Gets good vibes from it. So
Yeah.
it's just as and when.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
as I
I'll wait.
said, mate, I'm not going anywhere. So
Okay. No, because I've looked at a few of them. I follow all these property ones all the
yeah,
time,
yeah,
loads all the time. But
yeah,
yours has
yeah,
been out to me.
yeah. Well, good, good. You have to get on with the person that you're going to be working with, and
Yeah,
we got to have a bit of a synergy so that we can actually get the work done and stand
yeah,
each other every week on the Zoom call.
yeah,
Because it's a one-on-one thing. It's not a group
yeah,
thing. So it's just how we're
yeah,
talking now.
yeah. I mean, there was one post you put up the other day about if you and your partner put 34 quid a day away for the
Yeah,
next.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's true.
It's true. Yeah,
Yeah, it is
yeah, yeah,
true.
yeah.
And the
I've done that myself.
bit,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
but people are always looking for an obstacle rather than looking at how to have a solution to something.
yeah. I mean, I spend what 35 quid a day in London just
Having a
food.
coffee, prep,
Yeah,
little
yeah, just on shag.
tuna cardo from Joe and the Juice.
Do you know what I mean? So it is doable.
Of course,
100%. Yeah,
sacrifices, like
yeah,
a couple years of sacrifices, and you can put yourself so ahead in this
yeah,
life. It's just
yeah.
people aren't willing to do that.
I know.
But if you can be one of the ones that are, then you're gonna
Yeah,
separate yourself.
indeed. Yeah, definitely. Okay. All right. Cool.
No worries, dude. Have a think about it and look out for the email. And hopefully, in a couple of weeks or whenever you're ready, we'll see you either in the course or in the program.
No, you will be seeing me. I'm
Take
gonna
care,
wait
John,
for.
mate.
All right. Cheers, mate. Nice one.
Cheers,
Thanks
mate.
for
Bye, bye.
talking.